Good morning to one and all here. We have some students here already. These are from Fast Track. I'll be explaining the calibration of LVDT today. Along with that, we will also discuss about the aim, procedure, theory, apparatus. Then I will discuss about the tabulation content, then which is the sketch that you need to draw, and then what is the graph that you have to plot. So that is the plan for today. LVDT stands for linearly variable differential transformer, and the aim of our experiment here is to calibrate given LVDT. And what is the function of LVDT? LVDT is used for precise displacement measurements. I repeat, LVDT is used for precise displacement measurement. See, we can use the scale here for displacement measurement. We can use, see, this is about 30 centimeter scale, and its least count is 1 mm. If you want to find a displacement which is less than this, probably a scale may not be of any use. Then we have other alternatives. We have got micrometer, we have got vernier, and we do have what is called LVDT, linearly variable differential transformer, which is relatively having better accuracy levels. Now the question is, what is the accuracy of our LVDT present over here? As you can see, the LVDT range in the sense the minimum distance and the maximum distance that can be measured using LVDT is -19 to +19. This is bit intriguing. What do you mean by -19 and +19? I'll come to that later. Together it is 38 mm. That is important. The LVDT can measure, this LVDT can measure up to 38 mm, 0 to 38 mm. Another LVDT we have two LVDTs. So this is an experiment setup. This is industrial setup. Here, as you can see, the LVDT is concealed in a steel core, steel pipe, and inside the steel pipe you see 3 cores, 1, 2, 3. These are 3 coils, okay? 3 resistance coils. So accordingly, based on the connectivity of first and the third and the second one in between, intermediate, they are connected differentially. They are not sequentially connected. The term LVDT comes from linearly variable differential. It's a transformer. Some people also call it as a transducer. Well and good, no issues. So first and the last are differentially connected, and the central one is the output. So this is the input, this is the output, and there is, if you observe, here it is very clear. This is the central spindle which moves inside this core. This is the central spindle which moves from one end of the LVDT to the other end. Right at the center, the displacement is 0. I repeat, right at the center, the displacement is 0. So anything beyond this, when you are pushing the spindle beyond the central point, it is considered as minus distance, and anything towards the another end, we consider it as plus distance. So that is the reason we mention as -19 mm to +19 mm. Whereas the main concern here is total displacement that can be measured. Total displacement that can be measured here is 19 plus 19, that is 38 mm. First part. Please note here, in order to calibrate 38 mm, we should have a device which has the capability to measure 38 mm. We have a dial gauge here. This is LVDT is calibrated using a dial gauge. Here LVDT is calibrated using one micrometer. And if you observe carefully, I can tell you the micrometer range here is 25 mm. So what does it mean? Sir, can you calibrate the entire LVDT using this 25 mm? Please note, this is 38 mm, and here this dial gauge range is 0.01 mm to 10 mm. Okay, so we cannot go anything beyond 10 mm. So we can calibrate only up to 10 mm. In this case, 0 to 25 mm. So here we can calibrate the given LVDT only up to 25 mm. If you wish to go beyond this, then we may have to change the standard measuring device. Here in case of LVDT, we may have to change this, which can measure from 0.01 mm to 38 mm. So that is the range we need to have so that this entire LVDT can be calibrated. One part. Now, as I said, the LVDT consists of three cores, one central core. This is the central core which moves inside the core here, which we have three transformer elements, out of which the first and the third are differentially connected. Let me show you the differential connection here. This is what we mean differentially connected. I'll show you 1 second. Okay. Just a minute. As can be seen here, the output from one end is the input to other end. So this is differential calibration, differential connectivity. This is not series. See, one option is series connection. Okay, this is one option, but this is differential connection. Let me show you in a reverse way. Okay, this is input, this is output. Output from one, this is differentially connected here. Okay. This is what we mean differential connection. Never mind, we need to calibrate the given LVDT. And let me come back, LVDT is precise displacement measuring device. Now, when I say LVDT has capability to measure from 0.19 mm, in the sense it can go up to 0.01 mm, we need to calibrate it with the instrument. Can we do it with a scale? No, not possible, because the least count of our scale is 1 mm. But here we have got a least count which is 0.01 mm, 1/100th of an mm. So which means that LVDT has got better accuracy than the scale. So what is the next best alternative we can think of? We can think of, one is very good, is dial gauge which has a least count of 0.01 mm. Okay. Next we have a micrometer. Again, the least count of this micrometer is 0.01 mm, if I'm not, 0.01 mm. Least count of this micrometer is also LVDT. And for our exam purpose, we are using this as on now. Okay, exam purpose, we will be using this LVDT. Next part is the sketch that you have to draw for the journal. There are two types of sketches that have been provided. Either you can Google out or you can refer to our sketch here. See, this is the one. This correct, I'll show you with a at a close-up distance. This is one setup you can see here. This is the core. This is LVDT. This is industrial LVDT, which is used by the industries in the real world. Okay. And this is our calibration setup, where this is a movable jaw, this is a fixed jaw. We can move this and make the adjustments. And this is the one with which we are going to calibrate. This is the standard input. You start giving an input of 1 mm, 2 mm, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and note down the reading. This is LVDT reading. Note down the reading. As you can see here, as you keep on pushing the, okay, can you see there is a change in the output. So we calibrate by giving the known input 0.01, 0.02 or 0.1 mm, 0.2 mm, up to 1 mm, 2 mm. We can go up till, in case of this LVDT, 19 mm on one side, another one side is another minus 19 mm. So together we can give 38 mm. But please note, our dial gauge can measure only 10 mm. You can see. Okay. The output from this LVDT is shown here. Is shown on our LVDT output here. Now, I think this sketch is slightly different. You can Google out for this sketch as well, or it has been circulated in our manuals. So either you can draw this sketch, or you can draw this sketch. Both are equally acceptable. One is this LVD calibration of LVDT using this, and this is the sketch. Okay. This is the sketch. Otherwise, you can give the two views of this front view and the top view. Top view is there is a fiber covering that has been provided here, so you can draw the dial gauge. You can draw the LVDT setup. These are the 3 cores, 1, 2, 3 cores, and this is the input. This is the thimble that we give for known input. Okay. Next, 1, 2, 3. I think theory part is over. Its use is over. We should also know the specifications of each of our instruments. Specification is the dial gauge that we are using has got 0 to 10 mm as the maximum range, and the LVDT that we have is 0 to 25 mm. Please note here, often as a student we tend to forget. Our main concern is just conduct the experiment and get out of here. Let us not have that. When a question comes, when we are crisscrossing, I say next question is what is the maximum measurement that you can take? Sir, the maximum measurement depends on 2 factors. What is the maximum output or the input that this can accept? One. Then another is what kind of micrometer we have provided. What is it? I can as well give 0 to 10 mm micrometer. See, we have is 0 to 25 one. Then we have a 25 to 50 also another micrometer. So what is the maximum range that we have? That also is another case. In this case, the dial gauge that we have is 10 mm. But whereas the LVDT range is plus 19 to minus 19. Now the next question, sir, can you fully calibrate this LVDT? I say no. Please change the dial gauge. You should have a dial gauge which can measure up to 38 mm, whereas the dial gauge that we have is only 10 mm. So this can be calibrated from minus 10. This can be calibrated from 0.01 mm to 10 mm. I think I have made these specifications, range. These are important things. They are not for the board sake or for write-up. We should have them in our mind. Quick, yes, the scale. This is a scale which can measure up to 30 mm. Now somebody may ask, sir, can we use it for 50 mm? Given this scale, you cannot measure 50 mm. Sir, we can use it once more. We can mark one distance. Yes, you are compounding the errors. That is, I'm not going to that part. But given one instrument, its range is 0 to 30 mm and its least count is 1 mm. You cannot measure anything less than 1. Say you cannot measure 15.01, 15.02, none of those. 15.1, yes. 15.2, yes. But you cannot measure anything less than this. If you want to go something less than this, go for LVDT, go for micrometer, go for vernier. Yes, those are the things. Now, with this background, we need to discuss about the way in which we can conduct the experiment. While conducting the experiment, please note, as I said earlier, our main intention as a student is that note down the reading, do some calculation, plot graph and get out of this. But when the last part of that your journal says, what are the results? You reach up to result part, I know. You find out the values. So this is, see, as of now it is 0, 0. When I give some input, yes, I have given now 1 mm input. You say it is 0.93. Sir, there is 0.93. Yes. Sir, there is a 0.07 error. Okay. Next I give second input. There is some error output. Okay. Next is plot the graph. Okay. X-axis 1 mm, Y-axis 0.93, X-axis 2 mm, Y-axis 1.98 or something. You plot the graph. That's it. What next? Question comes, what next? What is it, the learning outcome that we have achieved by conducting this? This is where the conclusion part, the last part that you have to write. And as I can observe, most of the students have difficulty in writing the conclusion. Someone writes, it can conclude that LVDT has an error of so much. But that itself is not the conclusion. 2 or 3 conclusions can be drawn. One is, you have to tabulate the values. I will explain how to tabulate what are the inputs and what is the output. After that, conclusion would be a calibration of given LVDT was conducted is 1. Next, we could observe from the set of readings that the maximum error that was found out using this LVDT under today's circumstance. See, it may change. Somebody else may operate and the error may change. Always calibration is done with respect to date, time, everything. Tomorrow again the instrument may behave differently. Always, depending on its importance, severity, criticality, we need to calibrate the instruments on a regular basis. Now the question comes, how regular, sir? How many times you want to do it? You want to calibrate it every day, once in a month, once in a 6 months, or once in a year? Sir, is it necessary? See, if you are going for industrial level works, and if you are selling the products, if you are testing your products and certifying that yes, the exact length is so much, I want to find out the thickness of this. I have received an order for about 10,000 scales. I repeat, I have received an order for 10,000 scales, whose dimension specification is very much given. I must know how much is this length, how much is this breadth, how much is this thickness. Thickness has to be measured using our micrometer. And what is the uniformity? Do you think having measured once is good enough? It can have a different thickness here. When I do all this on an engineering basis, immediately the question comes, what is the guarantee that your measurements are correct? What is the guarantee? Definitely, I can show, sir, my micrometer has been calibrated just once in 6 months, every time we calibrate, and you have every right, as a customer, you have every right to ask me the calibration certificate. Sir, show me the calibration certificate. So, you will have to, all our instruments need to be calibrated. And where you get them calibrated? Industry gets them calibrated in the standard calibration houses, testing centers. We have here in Belgaum, right on our road, we have a metrology testing center near Foundry Cluster. We have standard testing center, instruments testing center, metrology lab we have. And we have a state level laboratory. CMTI is one excellent testing laboratory that we have, Central Machine Tools Institute, on the way to Bangalore, near Nelmangala. Once you cross Nelmangala and then Pune Industrial Estate, in between you have what? A fantastic calibration center, learning. You have, as a student, you can undergo some courses there. Now they have introduced even some online courses, but physically visiting that lab, it is in a cellar, ground floor. There are reasons why metrology labs are set up in the ground, in the cellar floor, not on the ground or on the first or second floor. See, this calibration is done at a cellar level. Reason being, we want to avoid all the disturbances from the nature in the form of temperature, in the form of sound, in the form of vibrations. So it is a separate topic, if at all we need to discuss about how the calibration setups are being done or the laboratories are being set up. Okay, one sec, just a minute. Let me stop at this point, and we will again develop into a second video. Thank you.